So, what's the biggest pain in coaching and consulting? If you run one of those businesses, what's the biggest pain? And I've thought about what is mine, and there's many pains in this industry, like lack of leads, not that good of an offer, or lack of recurrent revenue. And even though those can be pains, those are not my biggest pains. The biggest pain in my business, personally, the one that I've identified, I label it as energy mismatches. So, what are some examples of energy mismatches? One of them is, let's say you get on a call with a prospect, you get on a Zoom call, you spend an hour giving them energy, coming up with a plan, and the energy is there, and then they ghost you, right? Or they don't respond. That creates an energy mismatch because you gave energy but you didn't get it back. Another example is, let's say you have a client and you help them, you give them emotional, spiritual energy in a way because you come up with a plan together, and then they give up on that plan. So that's another example of an energy mismatch. And those are inherently painful because they create this energy debt in which you gave but you didn't get back. And because it's your business, you are always the one that has to pay that debt. So when I'm thinking about what's my ideal kind of business, yes, it's one with a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of leads and so on and so on. But the main one is a business that has as little energy mismatches as possible and as much energy matches as possible. Because energy mismatches are painful, but energy matches, they're healing. So an example of an energy match, and if you run a coaching or consulting business and you've had like real tangible results, then you know how this feels. Which this happens when you give somebody help and then they take what you gave them, they create a real world result, and then they come back to you and you're like, look at what I did. Look at what happened. Look at this energy that was created. And that's fun. Because then it is inspiring, yes, but it's also slightly challenging to you, the person who helped them. Because then you have to think, man, they responded and they gave you energy back. And you have this energy that you're like, okay, let me create something else. Let me help them in some other way. And then you give them that. And then because they're the kind of people who can match your energy, they come back to you and they're like, hey, look at what I did. What else you got? And then you're like, oh, you wait. And then you give them something else and so on. And it creates this wonderful loop of energy matching. If you've been fortunate enough to get a few clients that can match your energy, you know how awesome this is. You know how great that feels. And to me, that is the ideal kind of business. It's one where you get the most energy matches. So I'm thinking, how can I get more of this? Like, what's the strategy? What's the plan? And the conclusion that I have arrived to create a business where there's as much energy matching as possible is a business in which the people who cannot match your energy finance the acquisition of the people who can. So again, the people who can't match your energy finance the acquisition of people who can. And this is why this week I released the cheapest tier I've ever done. Currently it's $50 a week. It's gonna go up as it goes. But as the time we're recording this video, it's $50 a week. That is much cheaper than what I've done in the past. But why did I do this? Because I don't know and I don't have any expectations for the people who are inside. Like, it's not because I don't think that they're capable. It's just that I cannot afford to give them any energy now because I want to focus that energy on the people I know who can match it. And me personally, in my business, the way I like to treat it is I don't treat it as guilty until proven innocent. I treat it as, no, wait, innocent until proven guilty. I don't treat it like that. I treat it as guilty until proven innocent. As far as I'm concerned, people can match it. And that's how I operate because I know that the truly like capable, competent, smart people, they're very few. And I don't think, it's not that I don't think that they're capable, it's just I don't know, right? I don't know if they can match the energy that I want to give them. So there's the people who can, who are the cash creators, who they inspire me, but they also challenge me because like I give them energy and they come back with more energy and I'm like, man, now I gotta get smart about it. And so I'm thinking if I wanted to create more energy matches like that, then energy, if you give a lot of energy and they give you back, that's a match. But if you give somebody little energy and they give you a minimal investment back, that's also a match. So that's why I created this tier that's super cheap. And I call it the spooky tier because it was spooky to lower the price that much. But there is an energy match there. And it's because I give them the minimal amount of my energy and they get a minimal investment. So that makes sense. It's an energy match, which actually has been quite enjoyable to run. And it serves two purposes. The first one is that it might be a good idea so that people who might be able to match my energy can get a trial, because no matter how fancy we get, math is math, and cheaper things are easier to buy than more expensive things. So it might be a good idea for people who can match it to start. It's a good starting point for them. Or at the very least, and this is the second goal for that, it's that is going to be the place where most people won't be able to match it. And that's okay, because they're still paying and they will finance the acquisition of the people who can. And that was the main reason why I released it. Yes, like you can talk about the math and funnels and upsells and so on and so on, but the main one is, and the fundamental principle of why this works for me so well, is that I am financing the acquisition of the people who can match my energy with people who can't. And going forward, I'm going harder on this. So prices are going down in that sense for the people who can match my energy, or I don't know if they can yet. But prices are going up as well, because then I can dedicate more of it to the people who can at the other end of the spectrum. So it's almost like I'm barbelling my business. And I've found that if the energy is matched along the different offers that I have, it ends up really, really enjoyable, because, well, the people who you give energy to, they create wonderful things. And the people who you don't give energy to, they don't take any from you. So, and they still pay. So that's what I'm doing to solve the biggest pain in my business, which is energy mismatches. And it's been fun. So yeah, I wanted to let you in on this. If you're in kind of business where you have a lot of pain currently, it's probably because your energy isn't being matched. And the answer that I arrived to is structuring your business in a way that you should finance the people who can match your energy with the people who can't.